Just finished my walk for the day, so I want to talk to you a bit about my progress over the last week and also some of the lessons I'm learning. I want to focus specifically more on how we can use historical data based on what we're trading. Historical data to try and find useful insights to improve our trading on a day-to-day basis. Stupid fly. Anyway, try to ignore the fly. So basically, what was my progress like last week? So last week was rather bad week from a trading perspective. In the first 2 weeks of trading the strategy, I made about $2,000 trading on Combine. Then last week, I blew that all on Monday, where I lost $2,000 on Monday, and practically in one day, I erased progress for 2 entire weeks. Then on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I made about $800 on Express. And then on Friday, I reversed all of the progress I had done on the prior 3 days, and I lost $800. So it was basically like 3 weeks where I basically didn't really get anywhere. Of course, I wasn't happy. If I'm being honest, I was very disappointed in myself because it felt like making 3 steps forward and 1 step back. But upon some self-reflection, okay, I had some issues where, for example, if I was having a bad day, one of those days that I mentioned where I lost a lot. So I would lose the first trade, I would lose the second trade, I would lose the third trade, and then I would try to start winning it back. So in other words, I would start revenge trading. So it's not the first time I had that problem. It's one of those things where you kind of think that you have learned your lesson and you haven't. But it was not the only problem actually. There was also a problem where the trading day, the conditions were just bad, and I kept trading in bad trading conditions pretty much. And this is where data can come in, and this is kind of the message I want to get across with this video. So I actually ran on TradingView with the strategy tester. You can run like various tests. I use a bunch of Pine script code to build like the strategy that I'm trading. I try to derive the numbers based on various settings. I pull out the numbers, then I put it in a Google Sheet, and I create various pivot tables, data analysis. I extract insights from the data and so on. And I could actually gather some very useful data and insights from the strategy that I'm testing. And as I mentioned, like the days where I erased all the gains that I pretty much had, the first day was a Monday and the second day was a Friday. And I actually could see from the data, from the Nasdaq data that I was deriving, that Monday and Friday are actually lower probability days. This was not a surprise to me because those 2 days tend to be like no news Monday and no news Friday, which are generally lower quality days to trade. And basically the data pretty much confirmed all of that. But I could also see some insights, for example, and I relate it today because today is a Monday and I experimented with this newfound data that I was looking at. So for Monday, the data was showing me, in terms of trading Nasdaq, that I should only look at taking longs. So I looked at data for the past 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and 3 years. Data was showing me that for Monday I should only take longs and I should completely ignore shorts. Now, today, which is Monday, I tried the strategy for the first time. And by the way, one of the things the data also told me for Monday was to only look at longs. And since Monday is a lower confidence day, then I should only trade for 10 specific minutes. There were 5 minutes before market open and then 5 specific minutes during market open. I traded basically for 35 entire minutes, taking long setups today. I had two losses and 1 win. The 2 losses came from outside the select times that I had the data showing me for Monday. So all of them were longs, that's fine. But the data was telling me, hey, only take longs within 5 minutes, specific minutes before market open, and 5 specific minutes during market open. And the only trade I took that won was specifically in those select times. And I don't think that's a coincidence, because that's exactly what the data was telling me. Now, could it be that I trade a Monday? I don't know. I take a long within the select time the data is telling me and it loses. It could be. Could it be I get a Monday, I take a long in outside of the select times and it would have won? Absolutely, it could be. But the data is showing me that based on historical data, I'm expected to have a higher win rate taking longs on Monday and taking them at specific time intervals within the New York AM session, and I am more likely to win if I take trades during those specific times. And today was an example where that worked. I took 3 trades. The one trade that I took within the selected time frame, the recommended time frame based on historical data, that trade won and the other ones lost. So what is my point in this? My point is, and this is one of the areas I'm trying to improve, I'm trying to increase my confidence in the trades that I take by having more data-backed insights that can give me actually more confidence in the trades I take on a daily basis. I will keep testing this. I will see how it goes. Again, the one thing I mentioned in the beginning with the revenge trading, that's definitely something I need to fix. The damn fly is back again. Okay, it left. But yeah, the revenge trading part I definitely need to fix, but I also need to give myself more confidence by taking setups that are backed up by what the data and the insights say. So that's kind of the area I'm working on. Again, like last week was bad week. I pretty much erased all the progress I had done in the first 2 weeks. But yeah, these are the 2 areas I'm working on. Again, data. It should result in an improvement. Of course, I have to have the discipline to stick to what the data is telling me. And I'll see how it goes. This week, only downside to this week is Friday is a public holiday in the US, so the market is closed. And Wednesday, I know I'm not going to be able to trade, so I'm only going to be able to trade 3 weeks, so I'm not going to like have a full 5-day week sample size of trading in this manner. But anyway, I will start following this approach. I will need to be disciplined to follow it exactly as the data is telling me, and hopefully I will provide more updates over the weekends in the coming weeks to tell you how this is all progressing in terms of trading progress. Alright, thank you for listening, and I'll catch you in the next videos. Peace out.